Hello. Yes, hello. And it's Square Boy here. Square Boy Speaks Television here, and I just listened to another album that I already had for a while, but I just listened to it again because I haven't listened to it in a while. But today's video will be another album review, and this album is called A Lesson to Be Learned by RBL Posse. And not many of you know RBL Posse. RBL Posse is a rap group, and they started off in the Bay Area in California, San Francisco and Oakland, which is the Bay Area. And they were a very good rap group, and they were supposed to blow up. But their two main members have deceased, and they were murdered in a crime scene, in a gang scene. But anyways, more about RBL Posse is that there's many group members to that affiliation, to that rap group, but only a couple of them really rapped on all of them. Mr. C, Black C, Hitman were the three main, but mostly Black C and Mr. C. And they were supposed to blow up. They were about to get on the radio for the first time, but they never made it because their two main members died too young and too early. And they make their songs relate to themes of ignorance and defying the law and hating the police and fucking all this and fuck that, and it's just very interesting. It's just a very West Coast style gangster theme, like a gangster aura. And we're gonna get right into the album. First of all, the album was average to slightly above average. There was one good song, two good songs I really liked. And the one was Don't Give Me No Bam or Weed, and the other one was A Lesson to Be Learned. The sampling came from multiple popular songs from either that year that they released the album or years before, like Sugar Hill Gang, Tana Gardner, and The Temptations, and Earth, Wind and Fire. All these samples were implemented into this album, into the beats, into the backtracking. The vocals were very sloppily made, sloppily produced, and they were mixed well, but it could have been sharper. You know, Mr. C has that smooth kind of sloppy voice, and the high pitch, and Black C comes in with a deeper, darker voice. And it could have sounded more clear, but it is a 90s album and it's lo-fi, so, and it was a small record label that they were affiliated with, so I don't blame them. But it was just sloppy on the vocals, but the vocals were still good, but it was just the production of the vocals were not as good, and the beats were okay for the most part. I liked how they implemented samples. And besides the beats, the lyrics were okay. You'll get the same lyrics and basically the same song, same style of lyrics. It's just defying the law, staying out of accordance with the rules and the police, and similar to NWA, very similar. And it's just it was a very classic album. I would call it a classic simply because it was so unique, but it was very original, very distinct, very authentic, but it was kind of boring for the most part. The beats were too light, the beats were too monotonous, and the beats were just too classy for me. Just that very old sounding stuff. So basically, I would give this album a 7 out of 10. There was two good songs I really liked, and that was A Lesson to Be Learned. I really liked that song because I liked the beat change. I didn't like the first part, but the second part of it, I loved the beat change because it was just cool. It had that smack bass and had a double smack drum and the double slap bass, and it was just really cool. I really enjoyed that song. And I like Don't Give Me No Bam or Weed. because Mr. C was very good in that song. The beat was very upright, it was very uptight as well, and it sounded pretty good, and the flow was pretty good, and I love the lyrics. So basically, that's what I would give for this album. I would recommend it. It's one of my favorite albums from RBL Posse, and I would recommend the album. If you enjoyed this review, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.